Hey, witches.
Hey, witches.
Welcome to our final week of the journey through the tarot.
Final week. This week, we focus on the numbered cards of the suit of Pentacles, Ace through 10.
Pentacles are all about the tangible aspects of our life.
In these cards, we see people taking care of business, making money, or struggling with money.
Grab your tarot cards and your notebook, and let's get started on our final lesson. We'll go ahead and get started on week 11 of 11, our journey through the tarot.
And just so you guys know, we're so happy to have you here at the end of this.
Yes. Oh my gosh, thank you.
We can always start things with good intentions, but finishing it is like that takes some real stick through. So I am proud of you guys
and you and us
to be able to, stick with something. Like, it's not easy all the time. Yeah. But all right, from there, we will go ahead and get started. The Ace of Pentacles is already up, and we decided Kat is going to go first.
Okay, so tonight we're doing the final suit, Ace through 10, which is Pentacles for us tonight, which Pentacles is where we find situations dealing with earthly matters like our physical possessions, money, security, material goods, and the physical world in general. So with the ace, aces represent the starting point for some new spiritual quest or new beginnings. In particular, the Ace of Pentacles is about new enterprise and opportunity. Because we're dealing with the physical world and things in the physical world, that's what this ace means. So what we see for symbolism, and of course, the biggest symbol in the whole card is the hand sticking out of the cloud, gently holding a pentacle. And it's cradling. Yes, it's lovingly holding it. And so this is representing a material gift from the universe. Here you go. Here you go. Here's your new enterprise, or your new that spark that you're going to need, or the idea, not the idea. That's your new enterprise. Let me not get too sidetracked here and say too many things that make it confusing.
Well, I think it was good to say, so we had spark when we went through wands, and then we had idea when we went through swords. And with the cups, it was a new relationship, or a new person, a family member. There was something, there was a new connection. And now with pentacles, like, this is something that actually appears in your life that you didn't do, that you're like, whoa, the universe just set that in front of me.
Yeah, like somebody came up with a great idea for a new business. Hello.
Like, it would be something physical that appears for you as an opportunity to grow in the outer world.
So the other prominent symbol in this card is the pathway. So the arch that's going off. So we have a path and a gateway. So we're calling that through that arch is a gateway to another realm, symbolizing future opportunities. So it's not just a garden archway. It's actually, once you go beyond that, you're in this new realm of a future opportunity.
Right.
So when we put this all together, we can say about this card that an opportunity is on the horizon.
Something just clicked for me. We never said this before of it because the card doesn't show that, but it's like when the universe opens a door for you. I mean, that would be the opportunity. And then it was the words that you said where all of a sudden I was like, it's a doorway that you get to walk through. It's the universe opening a door, to something, to that place.
Well, they're leading you. You have a path and everything. The universe is leading you.
They're showing you the way.
Yes.
To get to the place where you want to go.
Okay.
Oh no. I tried to click the button. It didn't turn. Okay. On to the Two of Pentacles. This card is so kooky to me because it just looks bizarre in my eyes. But this being the Two of Pentacles is about juggling your finances or money coming in from two sources or something like that. Remember, the twos always represent partnerships or duality. So in whatever way that makes sense for balancing out money, whether it's, do I need a second job or not, but it's balancing the finances.
Should I mix my finances with my boyfriend's?
Ooh. All together now. No.
No.
All right, with the symbology in this card, because I do it, like, it just looks funny to me, but those exaggerated waves in the back with the ships on it, that's representing like the highs and lows of our finances or what we're doing with them.
My bank account balance.
The movement of your financial statement, possibly.
My
So,
stocks.
and it's meant to look exaggerated. Now, how he's holding the Pentacles, it's a balancing act. He does look like he's sort of juggling it, even with like one leg up and his head tilted. This looks like you're trying to juggle something. The exaggerated shape of his hat, I did not come up with this on my own, but it's like the finger money counter things, you know, those little red, we used to call them finger condoms. I don't know if that's really what people call them, but I used to be, you know, heavy into the paper world when I worked in IT, and everything had to be printed out and tracked like that. Well, I'm so glad everything went paperless, but you had to have those because otherwise your finger actually dries out. You get a callus on it. It's really creepy, but
And all that licking to
you don't lick it. There's a little wet sponge thing that we had so we weren't licking our germs, mom germs. So now we know how COVID got started. Okay. The infinity symbol around them, this is still talking about the balance and the ebb and flow just continuously. Like that's what we're always going to be doing. This balancing act isn't going to end. We always need to be aware and careful and mindful of how we're balancing our finances or the material things around us. You know, I sometimes think of like pleasure and play, the same thing. It's like, are you goofing off too much, or are you like focusing on what you need to be doing? So when we put it all together, this card symbolizes through intricate act of balancing, we will achieve our financial goals. So being mindful of that to balance and achieve your goals.
Yeah.
Over to
the Three of Pentacles.
Start over.
The Three of Pentacles is a card about craftsmanship or a skilled profession. All the threes represent creation and creativity. So just the fact that this is a card about craftsmanship, that speaks to the creation portion of the three, I believe. And even creativity, because if you're designing something or if you're building something, there's creativity and creation. Same word. Well, it's virtually the same.
Yeah, because creativity is like the idea of it, but then creation is bringing that idea to life.
Okay, thank you for that, wordsmith.
I get it from my mom. She taught me.
Because I'm like, okay, so in this card, what we see, the symbolisms in this card, we see a craftsman standing on a bench and he's holding the tools of his trade. Mm-hmm. We see two people consulting with the craftsman. One of them holds what might be architectural plans, because we're looking at the architecture that he's building.
They seem to be reviewing that.
Yeah. So we also see, of note in here is this Gothic-like structure with the three pentacles in it, carved into it, and that dominates the scene. Putting this all together, this card is about creativity. Through creativity, we've acquired the skills of a master craftsman. So this card's really like skill profession, master craftsman. Like this card, you know your shit. That's it.
You got somebody who's doing a good job.
Who's somebody who's really is doing a good job at their job.
A good job at their job.
Yep.
Very good way to say that. And usually I always remind people, in case anybody here is pretty new to Pentacles, but remember that pentagram is just the shape of the star, and it's a pentacle when there's a circle around it. So within symbols and stuff, that's how, a pentagram literally is just the geometric shape of a star. That's it. That's all it's meant to be. And then a pentacle is what we use more towards the spiritual side, or in Wicca, wherever. That is the circle around it, which is considered, a person standing in it, the four elements in spirit, and then protection around that. So how people cast circles and stuff, that this all just goes to being part of the pinnacle. It's the things that we do in our outside world. So it's a reminder of our the 4 elements, our spirit, and then how we work our own magic, whatever that is, whatever we put in our circle. So I should have done that at the beginning, because that's a good intro to understanding the Pentacles when you're looking at them, but I forgot. So we got it on card 3.
Well, what's really, I find that it's so unfortunate that the symbol of that has become this, or has, I don't know if it's become, but it has been for a long time, a negative symbol, and something that means like, you know,
demonic.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the opposite of that.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of there are a lot of police stations, and there's the star in general is used in with people that serve and protect, right? So we have stars on the American flag. It's not supposed to be a symbol that's something bad. It got turned around. We all know why. We're going to move on. It's not a history class over that. I thought it was relevant since the Pentacles deals with all of our outside stuff. Unlike when we talked about cups and wands and swords, that was things that were more internal. This is all that physical outside world. We are moving on to the 4. Oh, wait, no, I had to click off the thing. Moving on to the 4 of Pentacles, which this its character just kind of shows, but the 4 of Pentacles, my mom uses the word miser, of course, and that is not a word I would use, just because I'm not familiar with it, but a penny pincher, or somebody who, a Scrooge McDuck kind of person. Like, I'm trying to think of characters where they just hold on to their stuff.
Who is Scrooge McDuck? I've never heard of that.
Okay, well, it's from the actual story, The Christmas Carol, which is like Scrooge, somebody, right?
Different generations here.
Right. Well, when I was
I
growing
didn't
up,
grow up with that.
the DuckTales, if anybody there's these ducks. I don't know if they were part of Disney or not. I don't know. But Scrooge McDuck was a thing that you could like call people when I was younger, because it was like people who were selfish with their money, or were really like, oh, they're greedy, and just, it's very unbecoming. It's not like I need to hold on to my money because I don't have a lot of it, and I have things I need to pay for and be responsible. It was more like, I'm gonna hoard all my money and sit over it like a little gremlin. Yeah, Scrooge McDuck. I don't know. That's just what came out. So this is a miser hoarding the resources. So even though these are coins, and we could think about it as money, it's also any resources. What I think about with this is the health industry, where they make the medicines that keep people alive very, very expensive. That is this card. They're just like holding people's life-saving medicines and then charging ridiculous amounts of money. That's a good way to think about this card. The hoarding of resources. If we look at the representation within the card, you have him sitting on like a pedestal, kind of holding on to a pinnacle. He's crowned by one. They're under his feet. He's like, I just need to be on top of these things so nobody else gets them or touches them. The pinnacle being on his head is almost like a crown, stating he's totally fine with being this way. Like, this is an acceptable way of life for him. The 2 pentacles beneath his feet, meaning like, I'm not going anywhere unless there are more of these to follow. Like, think about, like, he wouldn't get up and walk away from this unless there were more coins for him to step on or to follow, more resources to go gather. The large city looming in the back, we can think of this as like the power that he can have over other people by hoarding those resources. So even though he is not seen as a king or a ruler, he who holds the resources can make the rules sometimes.
Well, he made himself a king with that crown.
I mean, he's declaring himself king of something. So when we put this all together, we're really looking at, this card comes up, you're holding on too tightly to your resources. You're probably having fears around lack, or there's not enough in the world, or needing to, create an underground bomb shelter and start filling it with food kind of thing. It's situations like that where you feel the need to hoard because you're afraid you might run out. I know that people that I've met that lived in the Depression era, they had that mindset of scarcity and hoarding food or keeping things longer. Expiration dates didn't mean anything to them. They're like, no, it doesn't actually go bad. You can still eat it. It's like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, well,
survival.
And that's why they became the food hoarders, because they really thought that all of that was going to happen again and they would need to survive, because they did see people die of starvation. So there could be good reasons behind it, but when this card comes up, it is talking about hoarding resources, and usually due to like fear or lack or control. And we're going to move on to the 5 of Pentacles.
And with
Oh, you love this card.
and with and we have another card that represents material lack, or could represent material lack. Remember that 5s represent change and conflict. So here we have this conflict of, well, 2 people trudging through the snow, one on crutches, another one wearing ragged clothing. So I see the 5 Pentacles displayed in the same stained glass is reminiscent of a church. And again, you guys know my background is I was raised Catholic. None of my kids went to church because I'm like, I'm not doing that to my children. What I, anyway. So I see it as a church. Other people may see it as a different type of symbol. It may not be a church window. It may be some other type of building. We've also got snow falling. So they're like out in the cold. They're left out in the cold. And they definitely look like they've seen better days. Like they're on some hard times right now. So representing this card representing again, like a lack of having resources. Even though they're like right there, they could almost touch them, but they can't. When we put this all together, it's a time of financial hardship and needing to be reliant on other people.
Yeah.
So if only there was a door there to the church, they might be able to get some soup or bread or something.
Or clothes.
Or clothes. Yeah.
Well, I always do think of this card with a little bit of hope. I've said it before, but the 5 does represent change and conflict. And I think that through change and conflict, we end up finding what we need. And so it's representing possibly the beginning of that, conflict, or then to change. But they're moving, they could be seeking out the resources that they're looking for, but the material lack it can be just an acknowledgement of it so that you can then know what you're looking for.
What we don't see is we don't know what's outside of the scene. So maybe they're heading to the church door where it's going to be open and
they'll be welcomed.
They'll be welcomed and they'll have the relief that they need, the material relief that they need, or the resources that they need to survive.
Well, and in asking for help, this brings up a good point that sometimes you cannot get help until you ask for it. So acknowledging that you have the lack and then asking for the help can lead to that hopeful future or for answers. That's why I see the depressive scene. I really do. But I feel like there's hope in this card as well.
I think there's always hope. I mean, we could see
hope
in most cards. We can see there's a way out. So there's always hope.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing to keep in mind when you're reading for yourself or someone else, that,
right.
To put a positive spin on even a card that looks as depressing as this. It's like, no, you're not going to be homeless. Don't worry.
And I was going to say, and remember that these cards that we've been going through for the last 4 weeks, these are all the daily things. So this could just be like a really hard day, a really hard week maybe, but these are not like big overarching, you do lose your home, you're out on the street. Like that would be a tower card. This is smaller. This is like, I lost the rent money and now I need to ask to borrow rent money, but I'm not losing my place to stay or something like that. Just an example. We're going to move on to the 6 of Pentacles.
And after all that lack from the previous 2 cards.
That's right. And asking for help.
What do we get? We get help. So this is a card about generosity. We can see that in the card. We have somebody giving to what appears to be maybe some poor people. So first of all, we see 5 Pentacles hanging in the air.
6.
I'm sorry, 6. 6 Pentacles.
Yes.
And I put 5 and definitely not 5. So 6 Pentacles hang in the air. And they could be seen as like raining down money.
Right.
So it could shower. Yeah, it could represent that. We also see a man holding a scale, representing balancing, giving, helping people. So you got this much to give to this person and this much to give to another person. So he's balancing what he can do. Two beggars on their knees with their hands outstretched, asking for charity. I mean, gosh.
In order to receive, sometimes we have to ask, or you can find people who are in need. So wherever you might place yourself in this card, whether, after the lack in the 5, now you're seeking help and it is given to you. There's somebody there to offer help, or there's a path made available for you. Or you could be the charitable person who's like, I've done really well this past year. I'm going to give an excess amount to, me. There would be animals underneath there. I would be giving to a wildlife shelter. And that's who I donate to. I have an Amazon list for them. So when their Amazon list is like, oh, we're in need of this stuff, I was like, okay, I got you. Not all the time, but when I've had good months, I'm like, yeah, I want to give back. I want to save baby raccoons and whatever else got, that we
Caterpillars.
I do that at home. But we have a lot of injured birds around here, like our seabird situation. It's all kinds of stuff all the time. So there's a lot of like bird care for them. But what I was saying with the card was, you can be the person that is the giver, the generosity, or you could be the people asking for help and trying to seek balance and harmony, because the 6 is about balance and harmony. And then just knowing that you don't ever want to give too much or take too much. I think these cards are always looking for balance, that seeing what you're doing is within reason for each person.
So when we put it all together, the meaning of this card is any past financial difficulties have passed, and you are now in a position to help others. Again, you could be the person helping, or you could be the person asking for help.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because it usually trickles down, right? Like one person helps and then they help another person, and
pay it forward.
Pay it forward. Yes, you read my mind. Thank you. All right, moving on to the 7 of Pentacles. So this card really is about reap what you sow. It's a great way to put it, that whatever you worked hard on, you're going to get that outcome because that's what you put your efforts into. The 7 represents spirituality and intuition. So normally when we work hard on our projects, we believe that we're going to be paid back in a certain way. And that it doesn't always mean monetarily. It could be that when you do humanitarian work, all the people who thank you, like that's a form of payment, all those thank yous and just knowing that you helped people. So this is about trusting yourself to do the work that's important to you, and then you're going to reap what you sow, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a farm thing to say, but yeah. What's the other one? Make your bed and lie in it?
No, it's
There's a bunch of these.
Yeah.
But choose one that works for you, but basically your actions create your outcome. That's a good way to put that. So the man is leaning on his staff and he's like looking at his hard work, right? Kind of like thinking about it. We have different, my mom, Kat, thought that this was more like, he doesn't look happy with it. He looks like he's frowning. I was like, no, he's like admiring it. It's like, he's not smiling from ear to ear, but I think it's more of a like, oh, wow, look, you guys are finally big enough to, I have a garden. So I think of these as like fruits and stuff. When something's finally ready, like you wait all year for your pineapple to ripen and you have to make sure that you get it before like a squirrel or a raccoon eat it. Like I've had that happen too many times to count. Where you're waiting for it to get just perfect and you're like, ooh, tomorrow's picking day. And you come out in the morning and they have already gone through it and you're like, it took me 6 months to grow that. Yeah, that's how I look at my pineapples right before I try to pick them before the animals get them. So the pinnacles growing on the vines is the representation of the physical things that we desire. With it being 7 of them, you can relate this to like where the cups had all the options. The 7 of cups had like a dragon and some figure glowing and just all these different things. And that was about choices. So this could also be like your hard work going into different areas, and you can pick which thing you want to harvest first. The pinnacle that is under his feet. We just said that. We didn't write anything about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a pinnacle between his feet.
Yeah.
And we think that means now I have to look at
That's the one he picked.
he Oh no, because now maybe I'm seeing your story where he looks upset. He's like, I picked the wrong one. Look, there's the right one. He's like, oh no.
Well, maybe it wasn't quite ready yet. And now he's like, oh no, I didn't give it enough time to grow. I needed it to have a little more value in that one.
Well, this is a card about intuition. Use your intuition to pick the right one, even if you think you're picking the right one, maybe. That's so funny. Okay, in general, this card, like putting it all together, this really just means like it's rewards of your hard work. That's it. It can be as simple as that. And so this card is trying to show you that there are rewards after hard work is done. And I guess the pentacle between his feet is probably that reward for now. And he's like, I can't wait to have all of them. That's the look. The puppy thinks it's already time. It's not time, baby. Okay, we're going to move on to the 8 of Pentacles.
Okay, another card similar to the 3 where we've got a craftsman, only this guy is not a craftsman. He's more like he's a worker bee, but he's a skilled worker because he's got all these pentacles that he's created, that he's manufactured, that he's made, and he's got them all lined up nice and neatly. Although he did throw a couple of them on the ground. Maybe he wasn't happy with those, but or he has so many that he's like, oh, I got an abundance of these because the 8s are about abundance. That's what 8s represent. So here we have this worker that's toiling away on a coin while displaying 6 other coins he has completed. 1 coin lays on the ground. There's a path to a town in the distance. So we already saw one path in the I didn't write things to say about these. Like I just wrote down the symbolism. He's wearing the clothing. The clothes that he's wearing suggests a craftsman because he's got like the what would that be, like a
woodworking vest.
Woodworking vest, yeah. So we definitely have
but I don't know.
So we definitely have a skilled worker here. So when we put this all together, this is a card about using your skills and your hard work for what you want, and you will achieving it with abundance, because this is a card of abundance.
Right.
So we have so many that we can afford to just toss them around like they're,
Yeah. We need to take these and go back to the 6, and then that's where he's handing out the charity, the 8 being that abundance. Remember, this is one of the cards that could symbolize next year being the 8th year. Ooh, yes. All right, we are moving on to the 9 of Pentacles. And this card, rightfully so, represents financial independence. Remember, the 9s are all about that insight while alone. So we have the cards within the 9 are about you as an individual. And so they're not necessarily talking about your family or your spouse or other things that are going on. It is truly just for the individual. So insights in solitude, that was the words we came up with. I said insight while alone, same thing, while in solitude. Having this financial independence, where we had the 7 card, where he was like looking at all of his hard work that was growing, that he was going to harvest, she is 100% content. And she's like, I don't even have to acknowledge them. I just know they're there. They're in the background. Like, it's not even my focus now. Like, I've finished all of that hard work and toiling away and figuring things out to where I know that it's just there waiting for me. So she actually has her eye on something else, like entertainment, the falcon on her hand, the little snail in her garden. If we look at the symbolism within the whole card, we have her. You're right. There's not the definition for the thing. I love this. That's okay. I can spot this on a fly. So the garden growing, the 9 of Pentacles is, and her not facing them, that is like, that it lives inside of you, that you can rest on that you don't have to worry and think about it. So because of this 9 card being about somebody who is by themselves and feeling comfortable, this could be a very independent person that doesn't need to be in a relationship, or is in a relationship but doesn't feel the need to be married even. It's like, I do well all by myself. A union doesn't make it any stronger, so there might not need to be. I always think of Goldie Hawn and what's his name?
Her husband,
They're not married. They never got married.
they never got married.
No.
Still,
What's his name?
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. Yes, because they were like, there's just no reason for it. We both do fine by ourselves. We love each other. We're in a relationship. Boom. This card is like that, where you have security in yourself to where you don't necessarily have to add anything more to it.
Well, she's definitely not combining her bank account with her boyfriend. She's
That's
she's
right.
keeping that separate.
That's
She's
right.
living a luxurious life
That's
right now.
Yes. She's Taylor Swift, and who the 7 is Travis Kelce. There, that's so they don't need to combine things. Okay, Tracy, it wasn't the best. All right, all right. I won't pick on that, but she's definitely just.
Don't start bringing up Travis and
I'm surprised
Taylor,
she didn't.
because I'm like literally we're gonna change subjects here. Come
We're
on.
not. We're gonna go to the questions. All right.
I have so much to say.
Within, as a reminder, the grapes, whenever we see grapes, they were really hard to grow, or maybe they still are. I don't know. I feel like we have a lot of abundance in our world today, but a long time ago, grapes were seen as only a symbol for the wealthy, because they were rare. Not many people grew them to bring them in, to keep them fresh. Like the whole thing with getting grapes was only for the wealthy, and it was extremely expensive to have grapes. That's why when there are the movies where people are like feeding somebody grapes, the ultimate sign of luxury is like, you don't even feed yourself and you have grapes, wealth. It just screams wealth. So when you see grapes within the cards or anywhere else, it's a symbol of wealth. It's why kitchens have a lot of grape decor.
And also abundance, because there's like so
Yeah.
many, like you gotta like a
Wealth and abundance. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So kitchens are designed this way because two systems merge, just so you guys know. Okay, sorry. Quick nerdy fact. You know how we have feng shui and things and like energy centers of homes, right? Well, the kitchen is usually built towards the center or near the abundance part of the home. And so the old medieval way of decorating with grapes to show that you're wealthy and you can have parties and like you can get grapes. That's how kitchen decor, when you see grapes, I remember seeing this as a kid. I was like, why would we have grapes on towels and pot holders and like wallpaper, grapes everywhere? That's why. It was a symbol of wealth, and most people don't even know they're doing it, but that's what it was for. That's why you see grapevines.
and you thought it
things
was
like
just
that.
a fruit.
Yeah, no. It's definitely like, if fruit was money, grapes would be it. That would be the money food. All right. I'm getting way off track. Sorry. So the snail that is on the ground, we can think of him as the persistence to pursue the goals and the dreams that we desire in the outside world. And that, again, this is just like steady, right? The balancing out between, you can't always go fast, you can't get there quicker, but you stay the course and you're going to get the things that you need. When we put it all together, this is really about staying focused and having your outcome. Like, you have to know what you want your outcome to be in order to actually achieve it. So the planning part of it, where we're looking at that 7 and 8, we planned it, we're looking to harvest it, then we're working all the things, and now we have the garden. It's like all good. This is how we get to the 9. This card is also about a sense of security. You can just write that down as a thing, but I think that it speaks well when we say that she has everything she needs. She has security,
Yeah. Yes.
ultimately. Okay. My jabbering is all done. Kat is doing the last card. We are at the 10 of Pentacles.
And actually now we at the 10 we have achieved financial security. So that's what this card. We have so much financial security that it's raining down upon us in this card. And that's the representation of so much financial abundance. We have a family that's approaching a city. So they're going to spend some of the money that they have, because they're going to go like, yeah, they're going to the fair.
They're going to the fair. I love that.
And
have you ever said that before?
No.
Fair? I love that.
No, but you know,
Like a
it's
little
that
dog's
time.
trailing
So, you know, you would need coin to go to the fair and buy things.
The
for
city
your-
market.
Yeah, the city market. Yeah.
Ooh.
Let's see. We also have the man in the corner in this very intricate coat
Yeah.
with dogs. He's sitting outside the city. So he could be somebody that needs help potentially. I'm not sure what he's doing there. Like, what, I mean, there's different, I don't,
Yeah,
there's different interpretations
Yeah.
of what that guy means, but it's probably more than for this course, because it's such a beginner course, because he
Yeah.
talks about how he is like, you know, you always see like the poor person in these stories and these fables. There's always like some poor old man that sits outside the city begging. So maybe he's begging, but
really there's like there's the fairy tale element to it, where when you're kind to this person, your wish is granted, versus when you ignore him, you know, nothing happens. What is a story like that where they give to somebody? Oh, gosh, I can't think of it. All I can think about now is like the apple, and that was the wrong way. That's the wrong kind of giving apples to Snow White. I can't think of any. Beauty and the Beast, is that one of them? A kindness shown, something like that. The whole meaning for it is with the man sitting there, since we already started it, but it is more of an advanced topic that you'll find in some books, is that he represents this, he's a beggar, but he's like a rich person in disguise to see people's mindsets. Like, are you naturally, are you a genuinely good person and you're going to help a beggar? And he doesn't need it, but he's not judging like your wealth on what you have. He's judging you on the wealth of your character. Boom. That was good. Okay.
okay.
So
he sits in judgment of your character. How are you going to treat the old man that looks like a beggar outside the city? Do you ignore him? Do you say hello?
Well, and when we think about this, as far as if the 10 represents like we've reached financial stability, we've got wealth, what do you do now? You're no longer in the rat race. You're no longer having to plan for things. You're not doing all these errands. Like, you're set up. Where do you go and how do you like change the world now? Like, what things are you putting out into the world? Do you just sit in your castle like the miser? Right.
You just hoard your money like the miser. Yeah.
So it's a reminder of that. Yeah. I love that the card switches from the monetary wealth or the physical outside wealth, and it goes back to this character that possibly judges you on your like
on your character.
Yeah, like your wealth of character. You know, who are you truly if you've succeeded? And do you just like, oh, well, I'm up here now, I don't got to worry about anything else going on down here? It's that's what the guy in the card represents. So the 10 being the end of one cycle and the beginning of another, he can be that transition back into, okay, I've achieved all the wealth that I wanted or all the things that I was looking for. What do I do with my time now? How do I provide something to humanity on this earth that still means something? How do I go forward and, you know, be better, do better, the next evolution of it? That was a good way to end the card. I guess it was good to bring
overall, so when we put it all together, the meaning of this card is about achieving financial security and a secure and satisfying family life. And we say that because there's a family represented here through the fruits of our labor.
Yeah. So and then remember that it's a ending and a beginning. So now that you've got there, something's gonna start over again. We're gonna go back to the ace.
Yeah, because that's how life goes. Shown. We just keep going over and over again, like right? Rinse, lather, repeat.
We're looking for the full human experience as souls here on this earth. That's what we do. So, I mean, if you complete one thing, it's not gonna be like, all right, you're done, time to check out. Like, we just die. No. It's like the next thing. Okay, now what? You've up leveled in different ways, you know, just like when we do that with relationships or with jobs, and you keep growing and building yourself, your experience, whatever that is. You go to that next thing with like a new, fresh perspective and be like, bam, I'm here. Now what? Now we're going to do this next thing. It's going to be amazing. And we're going to help people or help animals.
Yeah.
Save the seabirds. That concludes our 11-week course. What did we call this? Classes on tarot. We do so hope that you have enjoyed them and learned stuff, and you have a whole notebook full of things. Oh, homework would be the same as it was the last 3 weeks. Just remember, lay the cards out, tell a story in your own words. You don't have to know the meanings, but find yourself in those cards going through some kind of action to get from ace all the way through to the end. And we hope that all
it could be a day in your life, it could be a week, it could be a month, or it could be some years in your life. And you're going to find out what our story is, Jamie's and mine, individually. On Thursday on our live. So
yes, it would be fun. And with that, we bid you good night. Thank you for joining us for week 11 of Journey Through the Tarot, where we explored the numbered cards of the suit of Pentacles, where we saw people struggle and thriving with their worldly possessions.
We want to thank you for being with us through this course, and we hope that you gained knowledge through the lessons and the homework.
We encourage you to keep practicing, keep studying, and you too will become a confident tarot reader.
We believe in you and can't wait to see what you do with all your new knowledge.
Well, there you go.
All right.